Okay, we start chapter 2, verse 5. Chapter 2, verse 5, and it says like this. איש יהודי היה בשושן הבירה ושמו מרדכי בן יאיר, בן שמעי, בן קיש, איש ימיני. David, you want to read it loudly?
There was a Jewish man in Shushan, the capital, whose name was Mordecai, son of Jair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, a Benjaminite.
A Benjaminite. Okay. Here the Torah tells us who was Mordechai Yehudi. Okay? Ish Yehudi. What it mean Ish Yehudi? We have to understand why is the Torah here tell us who was Mordechai? Why does it tell us? There was many other Jews in Shoshan. It wasn't only Mordechai. Why the Megillah tell us that? We have to understand. Then the Megillah tell us that his name was Mordechai. First it was a Jewish man in Shoshan. Then it tells us Mordechai. We have to understand why Mordechai. He was the son of Yair, Ben Shimei, the son of Shimi. Okay? Ben Kish. How many? Why? Why do we need to know all of that? Ish Yamini, my right man. So it's not the Benjaminites, huh? But it's Ish Yamini. We'll understand. You didn't read wrong. It's 100%. But we have to understand what's happening. The Megillah tells us here who was Mordechai. First of all, let's give us a bit of understanding who was Mordechai. Mordechai was the head of the Sanhedrin in the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Then he moved on in a time of Ahashverosh. Remember. So Mordechai was the head of the Sanhedrin. Everyone understand what it means Sanhedrin? You don't understand what is it Sanhedrin? Sanhedrin, those the orderlies that was in charge of judging the Jewish people. That's the Sanhedrin. That's what we call the Dayanim of the Jewish people. If you have Has v'Shalom a dispute, the Dayanim paskin for you. Sorry. Yes. It's just that the only difference is that they have 120 and it was the headquarter. Only to them you go. Wasn't other, you follow?
Rabbi, but our Beit Din must go to the Sanhedrin and to learn from them how to conduct themselves strictly in terms of the Torah.
Okay.
No lies and intimidation.
So, anyway, the Torah tell us Ish Yehudi. Why does the Torah tell us Ish Yehudi? We have to understand.
Truth.
Why does the Torah tell us Ish Yehudi? We have to understand. In the time of Nebuchadnezzar, when Nebuchadnezzar was the king, everyone bowed down to his statue except Daniel. And when it came to Mordechai, Mordechai also didn't bow down because he was the head of the Sanhedrin. So that's why they call him Ish Yehudi. Yehudi, Milshon, that he keep his identity as a Jewish person. And then the Megillah tell us, Ushmo Mordechai. Why is the Megillah have to tell us that his name is Mordechai? Because his name was Mordechai. Very simple. But there was something more deep into it. It says, Ben Yair, the son of Yair. The word Yair, it means to light. If I'm not mistaken. Anyone can correct me if I'm wrong? No, Baruch Hashem.
What, sorry?
Yair, the word Yair, it's a name of a person. But the meaning of the word Yair is to light. Sorry? Yair, in the future, he will light.
Yeah.
Okay? So, Hazal explained, why did they call him? Why is the Megillah gone through his mind? Yair, that it was that he was in a time that the Jewish people actually was. Now we see that there is a decree on the Jewish people. And he was the one that lighted the Jewish people's eyes. That he told them, listen, don't go and eat on a feast that they have with the king Ahashverosh. Everyone go on and eat on a feast of the Ahashverosh. Mordechai was the only one that stood and said to him, you're not allowed to eat. Don't go, don't eat, don't drink, don't join that feast. So he lighted the eyes of the Jewish people. That's Yair. The next one it says, Ben Shimei, the son of Shimei. What it means Shimei? So Moti say, to hear. Who hear? It means, Hazal explained, Rabotai, that he davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to cancel the decree, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to him. Because we see that the decree been cancelled. Shimei sheshama HaKadosh Baruch Hu et tfilato. That means that the Almighty listened to his davening. HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to his prayer to cancel the decree. Okay? Ben Kish. No? מה זה קיש? Anyone know what it means קיש? מלשון הקשה, to knock. What's the connection? Sorry? Pam. Say again? Okay, that's a good idea. That means that Hazal explained that he knocked on the heaven's gate. He knocked so hard that HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to him. You understand? Because it was a decree on the Jewish people. And he was the one that stood up, and he prayed, and he davened, and he knocked on heaven's gate. That's Ben Kish. Ish Yamini, my right-hand man. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say here, listen to that. That means that Mordechai will always was on the right-hand side of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By that Mordechai canceled the decree on the Jewish people, he became the right hand to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in that generation. Leimino shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's Hazal saying. Now, when we read it, we have to understand what's happening here. But Bemet, why did the Agada the Megillah tell us all of that? Mordechai was a descendant of Shaul HaMelech. Everyone know. Baruch Hashem, no. What's happened with Shaul? Shaul didn't wipe off Amalek descendants. Here come Mordechai. Now he's going to finish the job. Why? He's going to wipe off who? Aman Ha'agagi. נכון? בעשרת בניו ונפתן son. We'll see later on that they ask a special permission to continue. We'll speak about it later on when we reach there. Esther asked the Melech Ahashverosh to give the extra few days. So now we understand why is the Megillah mention the heritage of Mordechai. Now you're going to ask me, yes, Russell.
Yeah, Mordechai wrote the Megillah.
No.
Mordechai and Esther.
Yes, but wait. Let me clarify it properly. Esther wrote it. ותכתוב Esther. Esther wrote it down. Mordechai was the one that took it to who? We explained last week? To the writers of the king. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So did he have this in mind when he wrote? Or is it just Chazal who have
No.
interpretation?
Very good. 2 years ago we explained that all the Megillah is all hidden thing. Why they call it Megillat Esther? We explained last week. And not Megillah and Mordechai. He was part of it. Milshon Hester. Hester is to hide. When Esther wrote the Megillah, she hid everything. And we'll get there now that we know that Esther never told her identity until much later, נכון? ולא הגידה את אסתר, how's it said? את עמה ואת מולדתה, נכון? Why? Esther never told where she come from, who she is. Why? Again, it's hiding. Because Mordechai told her. נכון? Mordechai commanded. But there's more to it. So, the Yalkut Shimoni and Yalkut Me'am Noez explain, bring two reasons. Number one, Ahashverosh hated Jews more than Haman HaRasha. And if he would hear that Esther is one of the women that going to be nominated to become a queen, immediately he doesn't want to see her. Do you understand what I'm saying? Number two, the Midrash explained that if that's the case, if you would tell everyone, and let's say that a king Ahasuerus will accept that as a Jewish girl. Biktan, Vaterish, remember Biktan? That they spoke bad. They wanted to plant a poison to kill Melech Ahasuerus, נכון? If they would knew that she Jewish, and Mordechai was always by the gate, they would never speak next to him, because they would say to themselves, listen, they're Jewish. If we're going to plant something against the king, he's going to hear us, he's going to speak to the queen, we're going to be in trouble. But that they didn't know that Esther is Jewish, they say it doesn't make a difference, we can speak next to him, he wouldn't understand. And even if he understand, he wouldn't talk. You understand? So here's two reasons why Esther kept her identity for so many weeks, so many months, until she became the queen. Okay, we understand that. Let's move on, because I decided that we're going to move, and today we'll do in chapter 3, verse 5. That can be found in page 1255. Am I right? 1255. Said you're going to read next, huh? וירא המן כי אין מרדכי קורא ומשתחווה לו וימלא המן חמה. וירא המן. 5. Chapter 3, verse 5.
Haman himself saw that Mordechai did not bow down, prostrate himself before him. Haman was filled with rage.
Okay. Basically, Haman, when he saw that Mordechai didn't bow down to him, and everyone else bowing down to him, he got very cross. And a nice word, very cross. נכון? There's no anger, whatever you want to call it. We have to understand two questions here. Why did Haman got cross? Just because Mordechai didn't bow down? And number two, we have to understand, how come that Mordechai taking such a position that because him, they might going to wipe off all the Jewish people? Do you understand what I'm saying, Rabotai? It's a big responsibility, because Mordechai didn't want to bow down to Haman. He put the entire Jewish nation that was underneath the kingdom of Ahasuerus in dire strait. How can you do that? Nachon? Anyone have any idea? So sorry? The Gemara say, no. Haman have an idol? No, didn't wear an idol. Haman have a tattoo with the idol on his chest. Tattoo of an idol. But he have another tattoo. We'll hear now. We'll see now what's happened. But we have to understand why Haman got so cross. 3 years ago, when we given the show, we done explanation who was Haman. Each one of the character in the Megillah we explained. Who was Mordechai, Esther Malka, Ahasuerus, Vashti, and Haman. We explained who they was. When people used to greet Mordechai used to greet everyone and bow down to them. Hello, how are you? Not really bow down, but he used to show respect. But when Haman came, Mordechai never showed him respect. That's what makes Haman so boiling, so cross. That's what turned Haman anger so much. That he saw that actually Mordechai, a Yehudi, have a respect to every person. And when it's come to him, Haman Nocha, Yimach Shemo v'zichro, he doesn't even look at it. He ignores it. Not only that, Hazal say that whenever Mordechai used to see Haman, you know what he used to do? He used to take his knees and he used to pet like this on his knees. You're laughing. You know why? That's where the tattoo comes. So the Midrash tells us, Ahashverosh, sorry Mark?
Haman was a stable boy.
Haman was?
A stable boy.
He was a stable boy originally. Nachon. So what's the connection to...
He did it for what he worked for Mordechai.
No, I'll explain that. Ahashverosh have 2 army officers. One of them was Mordechai Yehudi. The second one was Haman HaRasha. And one of the countries that Ahashverosh had, because he was the ruler of 127 countries, they start putting a coup against Ahashverosh. Ahashverosh sent Haman and Mordechai Yehudi, the 2 officers, each one with his own platoon, to stop the coup. The Midrash said. When they arrived, Haman didn't control his suppliers. So the supplier disappeared quick, finished, no more food. His soldiers, now hungry, they're thirsty. Mordechai knew that might going to be a chance that they're not going to defeat quick that coup. It's going to take a while. Control the food. Haman came to him and he said, listen, my platoon doesn't have food. If you're not going to give me food, they're going to kill me. My soldiers actually going to kill me. Mordechai said to him, tough luck. You know what? I wish that they kill you. Anyway, the following day that happened again, and the Midrash said that Mordechai decided, no problem, I'll help you, but in one condition. You're going to become a slave to me. He said, I'll be your slave. Haman said to Mordechai, I'll be your slave. He said, it's not good enough. I want you to write it. Give me a shtar. Where is the shtar? A document. I want you to do on your body that you must slave. So where did Haman done it? On his knee. And he wrote, I am a slave to Mordechai. I sold myself as a slave to Mordechai. So when Mordechai used to see Haman, he used to do to him like this. You remember? You my slave. You want me to bow down to you. Who must bow down to who? That's what made Haman so cross. That he saw that his master actually teasing him. Not only that, that now that he become the wife of Ahashverosh, he actually gurnish mit gurnish. He's only a slave. So he decided, you know what? I will kill, I can't kill only Mordechai. I'll make a decree against all the Jews. Now you understand what was the plan. The plan wasn't just Mordechai. The plan was all the Jews. But while I'm killing all the Jews, I'll take a revenge and kill my master. You understand? Now we understand when we read the Pasuk, why did Mordechai didn't want to bow down to Haman HaRasha? In chapter 4,
How did Mordechai, Haman go from being a slave to Mordechai to being the...
listen what he said. He was an army officer, now he became a slave to him. Yes. He was, the stable. He was looking after the horses, originally. From after the horses, you become an officer. When you become an officer, you move yourself up. You know who was Ahashverosh? You don't remember 2 years ago when we spoke, 2-3 years ago when we spoke about Ahashverosh, we explained the dynasty of Ahashverosh. Ahashverosh was nothing. You know Ahashverosh became a king of Persia? Sorry? He paid, but before he paid, how did he have money to pay? He was poor. The Midrash tell us that he found 80 of the treasure, 80 treasure that Nebuchadnezzar, actually, when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed first Beit HaMikdash, he took a lot of gold, a lot of silver, a lot of jewelry with him to Babylon. When he saw that he's losing the war, he put it in a Nile. Sorry, not the Nile, in the Prat. The freight. He took, the Midrash said that he made copper ships and he sunk them with all the jewelry. And Ahashverosh found it, he became a multimillionaire and he bought his kingdom. Now you understand? No, Ahashverosh. That's how he became a king, Ahashverosh. He bought his kingdom. Haman told him step by step. But Ahashverosh hated the Jewish people, you remember? But it's not nice.
He hated the Jewish people so much. Why did he make Mordechai an officer?
It's a very good question. How come that Mordechai was an officer in his army?
Why later would he reward Mordechai? Even if he...
No, if he reward Mordechai, I'll tell you why.
Even if he saved
We're going to get that reward.
But you still hate
But you're asking about how come he become an officer. Officer in those times, must understand, it's an officer in the army. He doesn't have a lot of say. Officer is basically in charge about the platoon, and if something wrong, they hang the officer. Do you understand? But how did Haman reach to that level? Ahashverosh hated the Jews, and he needed someone to do the dirty job, because it's not nice for King Ahashverosh to say, I hate the Jews and I'm going to kill them. So he looked for someone and he found Haman. And when he realized that Haman so much hate the Jews, he given him so much power. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's how he built himself. Let's move to chapter 4, Psukim 16 and 17. That means verse 16 and 17 in chapter 4. Everyone found it? That's in page 1256. Okay, and it says like this: לך כנוס את כל היהודים הנמצאים בשושן וצומו עליי ואל תאכלו ואל תשתו 3 ימים לילה ויום גם אני ונערותיי אצום ובכן אבוא אל המלך אשר לא כדת וכאשר עבדתי Loud.
Then Esther said to reply to Mordechai, go and assemble all the Jews to be found in Shushan and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I will with my maids will fast also. Then I will go to the king, though it is unlawful, and I perish.
Okay.
Mordechai then left and did exactly what Esther had commanded.
Okay, first we have to understand what Esther is saying. You should not eat, number one. Okay, you should fast. You should not eat and you should not drink. Sorry? That's right. Listen what it says. Tzumu alai. Fast. Al tuchlu ve'al tishtu. Why do you have to repeat? If you say fasting, if you ask every Jewish people what it means to fast, not to eat and not to drink, nachon? So why did Esther say that? To understand that, Rabotai, we have to understand what's hiding behind it. Hazal tell us, you know when it was? When it was? Pesach.
Yes.
That was Leil Pesach, Tetvav Nisan. What's the mitzvah that we have to do? To eat matzah, to drink 4 cups of wine. Do you understand? What it means, Al Tatzum? It's a festival for us. What it means a festival for us? We're not allowed to fast on a festival, Rabotai. So Esther HaMalka said to Mordechai, go tell all the Jews Nachon, it's Pesach. We obligated to eat. We must eat on Pesach. We must drink. But I'm taking all of yours sin. If there is a sin such thing, don't eat. That's mean. Don't eat the matzah. Don't drink the full cup of wine. And listen what it says in the end. וכאשר עבדתי, עבדתי. If I deserve to get a punishment from heaven for that I told you not to eat and not to drink the matzah and the wine, the punishment going to be on me. ועבדתי, עבדתי. Why? Because Esther knew that if they're not going to fast now, if they're not going to do a repentance now, not going to be any more who to celebrate Pesach. So Esther said to Mordechai, tell the Jewish people, if they worried, I'll take their sin. But they must understand, if we're not going to do a repentance now, there is no one to celebrate any more Pesach. Go tell the Jewish people, and I'll pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Gam ani v'na'arotai, also me and my girls, the servant that was with her, they're also going to fast. What does it mean? Don't think that because I'm a queen sitting in a king's house, I'm going to eat. No. I'm going to join you on the same Torah that you have. I'm going to join you. I'll be exactly like you, even that I'm the queen. Let's move on. How much time we have? We have another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Let's move to chapter 6, verse 1. That can be found on what page? Page 1257. Page 1257. בלילה ההוא נדדה שנת המלך, ויאמר להביא את ספר הזיכרונות, דברי הימים, ויהיו נקראים לפני המלך. Ivan, you didn't read a long time.
That night sleep eluded the king, so he ordered that the record book of the Chronicles be brought and be read before the king.
Okay. בגמרא in מסכת מגילה. Chapter 16, page 2, the Gemara says, wherever it's mentioned the word Hamelech in the Megillah, referring to the Almighty, to Ribono Shel Olam. What does it mean, the Almighty? So Hazal explain and ask something very interesting. ברוכים הבאים. בוא תשב פה, אני אראה אותך, אני אוהב לראות אותך, תשב איתנו, תשב, תמצא לך מקום מולי. Hazal tell us, it say, בלילה ההוא נדדה שנת המלך. So if we talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hazal ask in the Gemara, in that case, if you're saying that wherever it's mentioned Hamelech, referring to Almighty, does the Almighty sleep? Has v'shalom. Because Almighty is not a human being. So how can it say here, בלילה ההוא נדדה שנת המלך? Ivan, do you understand the question?
No, but you go to verse 11 in the chapter before, it says Amelech as well. They're talking about
wherever it's mentioned Hamelech, not Hamelech Ahashverosh. Hamelech by himself, referring to the Almighty.
it says the same thing. It says Asher Gidlu Amelech et
Asher Gidlo Hamelech. Who Gidlo? Who made?
They're talking about Haman being promoted.
That's it. Who promoted him? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Almighty.
So that means not.
I see that you missed the shiur about Emunah. Everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I'll repeat just for you. Hazal tell us that a person can't be even pricked a little bit if from up in heaven didn't have a decree. A person can't do a step forward if Mishamayim they didn't say so. You understand that? So here the Megillah say, בלילה ההוא נדדה שנת המלך. מלכו של עולם. Hazal say in the Gemara Masechet Megillah. Immediately Hazal ask, how can be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sleep? Huh? Chas v'shalom להגיד כך. So, what does it say in Tehillim? What did David HaMelech say in Tehillim? Chapter 43, verse 24, 44, my mistake. Chapter 44, verse 23. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. Everyone know it. So it's true. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן שומר ישראל. And here you say לי נדדה שנת המלך. So to understand that, we have to understand. I'm going to bring one commentary of Rabbi Shlomo Elkabetz HaLevi. Rabbi Shlomo Elkabetz HaLevi born 510 years ago in the city of Saloniki. City of Saloniki, that's in Greece. Okay? Everyone know Rabbi Shlomo Elkabetz? Lecha Dodi. Remember that? He wrote. Okay. So everyone knows. So he said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu pretended to be sleeping. Why? And he explained like this. Hazal say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he see the Jewish people sinning, he pretend like he's sleeping. But when the Jewish people actually do good things, do mitzvot, Ma'asim Tovim. What did David HaMelech say in chapter 121, verse 4? Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Israel. So it contradicts, Haz v'shalom. 1 minute you say sleeping, 1 minute you say not sleeping. So Rabbi Shlomo Elkabetz explained it like this. When the Jewish people do sinning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu pretend that he's sleeping. He let other people punish them, give them hard time. But when the Jewish people do tshuva, immediately, Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Israel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wake up and look after them. So when it said, Balayla hu nadeda shanat hamelech, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that the Jewish people going, having a feast, seeing the Hashverosh drinking kosher wine, Rabotai, Basar, Badat. There's Mehadrin Commission, Bet Yosef, you name it, it was there. But they used the vessel of Bet HaMikdash, nachon, the Gemara say. And Hashverosh himself dressed like Kohen Gadol. Mordechai told them, don't go to that feast. They didn't want to listen. He said, it's kosher. Kosher. I'll teach you a lesson. I'll send you a man Rasha to wake you up. So they done tshuva. But the question is that we have to ask. Later on it says like this. Vayomer le'avi et sefer hazichronot divrei hayamim. O sefer hazichronot o divrei hayamim. How many books you have? Do you understand the question? How does it say that, Ivan, you read? Sefer HaZichronot, the book of memories. Nachon?
The records book and the chronicles.
The chronicle books. So there is a record books and there is a chronicle. What's the difference between them? Huh? Records are a record, you write everything, and the chronicle, you just write the head letter. Nachon? Yof. So now we understand the difference between them. But it was the Gaon Rabbi Yosef Taichik. Everyone heard about him? No? Rabbi Yosef Taichik, born 550 years ago in Spain, was 3 Rabbi Yosef that was supposed to write the Shulchan Aruch. Marana Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, Rabbi Yosef Taichik, Rabbi Yosef Shem Tov. Left Tov or Shem Tov? I'm not sure. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose the Marana Bet Yosef. Rabbi Yosef Taichik, in his books, he wrote a commentary and he explained what does it mean. That when they brought the chronicle book in the front of Ahashverosh, they was reading, head letter, he couldn't sleep. That's the pshat. They reached to the place, when they opened it, where did they reach? That Mordechai saved King Ahashverosh from the plant of Biktan Vateresh, that they planned to kill him. So he said, that's very interesting. Now I want you to go to the record book. Read for me what's happened. I understand the chronicle. But now I want to understand what's happened with this man. So when they read the record book, he realized that nothing has been done with Mordechai. And then who came straight in?
Haman.
Haman.
הרשע.
איפה הוא? והמן בא. Where is he come? הקדוש ברוך הוא put them there, exactly. And what did המלך אחשוורוש say? Listen, a person that saved. Remember, what should we do to them? Haman immediately told about himself. What did he say? Keter Malchut, he wanted the crown. Oh, Ahashverosh immediately got cross. Why? Because the Midrash tells us that Ahashverosh have a dream that Haman want to kill him. And then Bigdei Malchut, to take the king's clothes, to use the horse of the king. No one allowed to use the horse of the king. Here Haman wanted. You see how everything gets planted. We have 5 minutes, am I right? No?
But back to my question.
Back to your question.
If you hated the Jews so much, even if Mordechai saved his life, why would you still want to reward him?
Okay, very good. You hate someone so much. You hate a person with no reason. Okay, let's be open-minded. You know that Mr. X saved your life. Someone actually planted to kill you. And here comes Mr. X that I hate him, and he saved my life. You say to yourself, whoa, wait. Maybe there is something wrong here. Why should I hate Mordechai Yehudi so much? He actually saved my life. I was supposed to be Arrivederci. And here come Mordechai and save his life. You have to reward him. But we have to remember, where does it come from? One more pasuk, and with that we're going to conclude. Let's go to chapter 7, verse 6. Chapter 7, verse 6. That's on page 1258. I'm going to read it quick. And there it says, ותאמר אסתר איש צר ואויב המן הרע הזה, והמן נבעט מלפני המלך והמלכה. Who didn't read in English? Stephen, you.
Esther said,
Loud.
an adversary and an enemy, this wicked Haman. Haman trembled in terror before the king.
Okay, here Esther say, listen, this wicked Haman. But Haman sitting with them. How many Haman was with that feast? One. So why did she have to say Hazeh? What it mean Hazeh? She point to him, Hazeh, that. We have to understand what Esther said. The Mefarshim explain that when Haman spoke, she said to Haman, Haman, in every generation we have one like you that want to kill us, want to destroy us, want to wipe us off. In this generation, you are the one. You are the one. You are the Haman of that generation that want to kill us. But Esther also said to them, that's not only that, that Esther said to him, what did we say in the Haggadah of Pesach? Bechol dor vador, עומדים עלינו לכלותנו. והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו. So Esther said to him, Haman, you, Haman Azeh, you sitting here, you are a man of that generation. You want to kill us, you want to destroy us, you want to wipe us. Remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu above you. He looking after his nation. He looking after all the Jews. Matilenu mi Adam. Remember, not only that he's Matilenu mi Adam, that's going to be your end. She hinted. Now we understand when we read the Megillah, it will give us a different way to look about what we're reading, to understand.